possibilities. Are there other things that you do as well to help yourself shift in those really dark times towards something that is more in alignment with hope?
Interestingly enough, I'm a big believer in manifestation. I'm a big believer in what the mind believes it will achieve. But there's an important step that most manifestation folks, people that believe in manifestation but aren't seeing the actual things show up, and they get frustrated and they feel like, well, geez, this doesn't work. They're missing the action step. Like, and not just an action step, but an action step in faith, like absolute faith that it's coming and that you may not know how it's coming. Like, you just trust that it's coming. Um, I've played around with manifestation, and there's a couple key elements. One is being detached from the actual process that you imagine. Like, it doesn't, if you're going to take a trip, it doesn't really matter if you took a car, a boat, or a train, or a plane. The key is that you got to the destination. And so giving that up, surrendering that level of control, but having the full faith and trust that you are going to arrive to the destination you imagined or someplace better. Like, allow for the better to exist, right? Because maybe you don't even imagine as good as it's going to be. But then there's action. And what I've seen most is that people that aren't manifesting are not taking any action. And it's not about perfect action, because people say, well, I don't know what action to take. It's put out the energy of what it is you desire, and then take an action that comes to mind, whatever your intuition tells you. And it may not have any logic at all, but you need to trust God, the universe, however you perceive us as a collective greater than yourself, but you're part of that greater. Then if you allow that to happen from any action and trust that the greater good is going to come to your benefit with complete faith, then that's the magic. Take action with complete faith and trust that it's going to show up.
That sounds like an absolutely beautiful recipe for greasing the wheels of hope. Right? You're because I think I so agree with that. I mean, I've studied manifestation myself, and I've looked at the different elements and pieces of it. And I feel like, in letting go of that control, you're actually taking more control of what happens and your destiny, and you're working with the universe. I mean, you talked about fortifying that belief that something is really going to happen. I mean, that's a key piece, I believe, of tapping into hope. Right?
I agree. I found it by accident. I don't want to bring any negative energy into this conversation, but if there's someone listening and what I'm about to share is going to help them, if you're open to it, I want to share a little story. It was probably 20 years ago. I got crushed. I lost a lifetime's fortune, and I suffered a deep depression, so deep that I contemplated my own existence. And if not for being a single parent, I probably would not have made it through that experience. It was such a dark time that just getting to the point where I could feed my son or take care of simple things. Like, here's an example. I let the dishes pile up in the sink, and I didn't clean them until I needed a clean dish to feed my son, and that was it, right? And I was in such a dark place that I made a simple commitment to myself that I was going to not leave any dirty dishes in the sink. And as simple as this sounds, it was the action that the universe needed to see from me that I was participating in creating something better. So that had nothing to do with anything. So when I say take an action, whatever your intuition tells you, it can be as simple as something that you're struggling with. Show the universe that you're willing to participate in this creation because you are the creator of your own existence and what happens around you. So show the universe you want to participate. It can be as little as doing something that you don't usually like to do, and taking that action will unlock a door. And all of a sudden, hope was a light at the end of the tunnel for me. I could see just because I took that action. And it happens quickly. Like within a week, I was on my way out of my depression because of that. So yeah, I share that in case someone is in that dark place and they can see that, wow, if I can just do this one thing, it doesn't have to be a Herculean thing. It doesn't have to be solve all my problems. If I lost my business, or I lost my job, or I lost a relationship, or whatever it is, like there is something better. Hope is around the corner. Take action and participate, and you will see.
Thank you for sharing that story. That's completely awesome. I really appreciate you being so real and vulnerable. That took a lot of courage. What I see with people so much is this expectation, right? There's expectation around how things are supposed to be. And then when we lose that, there's an expectation about how we want the new thing to come in. And you really allowed yourself to move through the pain of what you lost and to just take a little step forward without knowing what was around the corner. That took a lot of courage.
Thank you. I would like to claim credit for a lot of courage, but at the end of the day, it was just survival at that time. I was just trying to survive. And, I share the story because I would have loved to have heard the story when I was in that place to like, it would have shortened my cycle if I would, I just need to take some action. It doesn't matter what the action is. I just need to do something. So yes, it can unlock a lot just by doing that one little thing. Will turn into two little things. And then eventually the big things will come. But, you mentioned something really important there, Kimberly. The only way to be disappointed in life is for expectations not to be met. Mm-hmm. So if you let go of expectations, all of a sudden you can find happiness very easily because there's no expectation attached to it.
Exactly.
That's true. That
it's simple,
is
but it's not easy.
No, it's not. But this is something that Kimberly and I have explored a lot, actually. We've studied together and we've talked about releasing expectations. That's such an instrumental part of hope, I believe. It sounds counterintuitive to let go of expectations and have hope, but really that's how we get to that place of having hope, is not having expectations and being satisfied and grateful for what comes. And the biggest things, the greatest lessons come in the smallest packages.
When I met Amy, I had a store, Mystical Awakenings, and I taught classes and I sold items, and I got exposed to toxic mold while I was there. It made me really sick, and I had to give up the store. And I had invested so much time and money, and I had an expectation about how that was going to look. And Amy consistently reflected back to me about giving up expectations, demands, and desires. And I would say that sentence to myself over and over again. And it did exactly what you're saying, Rick, is it opened up so many more possibilities for me once I shifted out of that, to have an online school, to sit here and talk to you today. And I'm so much happier. So I can see exactly what you're saying, that there was something, like it was a dark time, but it's such a better time now.
I love that. This is an awesome conversation, and one that I'm sure we could talk about for days or weeks. It's so much fun. And I think that this is something that is a journey to explore for anyone that is either currently going through this and or just an awareness, so that when it comes up next time for you, that you can see that, oh, this is actually a blessing. And there's something amazing. There's like a Christmas present or a gift that I get to open because it's wrapped up in this thing that may not look like it's a gift. But once I get the wrapping off, the gift inside is going to be so amazing. And this is a blessing to be able to share this with everyone today. So thank you for inviting me.
That's such a great outlook. I love that. I love the way you summed it up. And along those lines, maybe you could just give us a minute and tell us about what you're doing. Speaking of gifts and opportunities.
Indeed. So I am working on creating a movement and a technology around a philosophy that is being in the flow of money. And the philosophy is the more you give, the more you get. Like, we have a world that says that somehow in capitalism, someone has to give up money in order for another person to trade them something of value in order, like it's an exchange. I have created a technology called 1010, spelled out TEN, the number 10, and we're at TEN, the number 10.app. Instead of .com, it's .app. And 1010 is a app that will help local nonprofits, local businesses, and potentially you, the consumer. So the way it works is a consumer downloads the app for free and uses it to make local purchases. The consumer gets cash back on things that they already buy, like a pizza or a haircut or oil change, or any number of hundreds of businesses that are making offers for cash back inside the app. Every time you make a purchase, it helps up to 10 of your favorite causes. Local nonprofits is kind of our focus. But it could be your kid's school, it could be your church, whatever it is that you care about. So when you go to buy that pizza or get your hair done and you pay with 1010, not only did you save money, but you also supported up to 10 causes you care about at the exact same time. The businesses get a win because in the past, they used to have to spend thousands of dollars to do advertising. We use a model where they pay nothing up front and no monthly fees. They only pay if a customer comes in and makes a purchase. So it's a being in the flow, meaning these dollars are being spent anyway. Like, you were buying the pizza anyway, you're getting your haircut anyway, you're getting your oil changed anyway. Why not use an app that now creates a flow that helps out the local community, helps out yourself, helps out local businesses, local nonprofits? It's just designed to be a win-win-win without any losers, because no one ever pays unless there's something positive happening in their life. So it's just being in the flow of money, which is very different from the typical exchanges we see. So, and the app does one better. When people refer their friends, you actually get bonus cash because you helped your friends. Or if you referred a nonprofit, like every time you refer someone else, it helps, and you get rewarded. So you get rewarded for doing good in the world. And that's what I want to teach. I want to teach that receiving money and doing good at the same time is not only okay, it's the better way.
I love what you're doing, because we're seeing in the world right now so much of a lack mentality where people are afraid that they don't have enough. And what you're basically saying is there's more than enough. Thank you so much for investing your time and doing that. And thank you for coming and being on the show today, Rick.